happening. Yeah. Hi, everybody. Oh, we're just waiting for Vesna's. Welcome to Zest for Life, Barcelona, again from Yo Casa and Cultura.
Yeah, from the same eco space that we were last time, but
different apartment this time.
Different apartment.
Yeah, and also the elephants are here.
We brought them here.
We do have some elephants to discuss. There are some elephants in the room. We'll discuss them a bit later in the show.
Yeah,
so yeah, we're going to start with what's new and good. Now
yes.
That's what we always do. So I'm going to ask Vesna, what's new and good?
Ooh la la, what's new and good?
La.
Well, what have been? I had a great talk today in a company together with this food app Tribe. They deliver healthy, sustainable, prepared food by professional chefs to companies, and we recently discussed about maybe some potential collaboration. So very last minute they decided to invite me to go and give like a 15 minutes presentation on healthy eating, the importance of eating healthy, and how can we transition from processed unhealthy food to more, fresh, healthy, grown, nature-made food.
Okay.
So that was interesting. I love talking, and I'm buzzing when I see people being excited about and just looking at you and they're being inspired about what you say. So I think that is my future plan.
Great.
Doing
more
events,
speaking like this.
More speaking.
Great.
Yeah. What else is new and good? Well. Not so good, but the situation in Barcelona.
That's not new and good. No.
Yeah.
Well, what's new and good?
To be honest, I don't know what else has happened recently. I've been just working, on my website, focusing on the business, doing lots of training. I started drinking matcha. I think
you mentioned it last week, this one. Yeah.
I don't know if
you put it in the smoothie or something last week?
No, that was different.
What was it?
No, that was different. About the
maca. Are you saying matcha?
Matcha tea, which is a good substitute for a coffee.
Oh yes.
So I'm planning on maybe doing a coffee detox for some time and replacing the matcha. Yeah, because matcha is full of antioxidants and vitamins. And for example, if you do take matcha together with a vitamin C, it heightens the potency of the vitamin C. So
who's matching out? Anyone matching?
I love matcha. I'm getting addicted to matcha. I love the taste of it.
I see. I never loved the taste, but that's fun.
Yeah, I love. Well, and not when it's only made with water. I tend to put some almond milk inside.
Okay, there we go. That probably sounds better. Okay, good. Anything else doing good?
No. Okay. What about you?
Well, let me tell you. Let me tell you guys. First of all, I'm very excited because I'll be going to Switzerland for a couple of weeks. That's good. It's one of my favorite countries. I've really come to love that country. So I'm going to spend some time with my friend Shannon and her husband and their baby. Also my friend Danny. I'm very excited about that.
That's what you're up to from now up until next week.
Yeah, yes, but it's like new and good that it's coming. And I'm excited.
It is. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
What else has happened in the past week? That's a good point. Thank you for clarifying. So let's see. What's new and good? I've done, as I've been saying almost every episode, like so much more work. Like we actually, the website is live. I'm not going to give you the URL yet, but the website is live for our co-coaching work that I'm doing with my partner. So that's now live. We did more work on it today. We're going to work on it again tomorrow. Like
Congratulations.
It's super. It's juicy. The stuff it's good. I'm very excited to get out there and coach people in these groups and individually. So that is very exciting. I'm feeling very energized, happy. Oh, one thing that's doing good is at one of my friend's places, I did this, there was some mantra recording that he had, and he played that as we were falling asleep, and I slept so deeply, and since then it's shifted something. Like I'm super optimistic these days. So I don't know if it has exactly to do with the chanting of the mantra or what, but something's going well. I did my 44 sun salutations today, and for the first time I did them all without stopping. Like I usually make a pause, and this one was.
So you do them twice a month?
No, every time we do. Every time we do it sit down together. I do them 44. Originally the 144 because we started the show on the 21st of June.
Every time, I mean every week.
Literally every Wednesday before we have our show, I do it.
You do it.
44 sunset. So that was fun, and I felt really energized and happy, and so yeah, and I'm in a very good mood. That's all I can say. I don't exactly know why, but I'm in a very good mood.
Is that just today or in the past?
No, the past couple of 2, 3, I'm living with someone right now that's really awesome, having good conversations, and just a friend, but like, you know, just having a nice time, and I'm happy. Yeah,
Good.
that's what's new and good. So we wanted to talk about like, so one of the elephants, So we are broadcasting from Barcelona. If you have any access to news around the world and you're seeing,
which you probably do with all the social media.
I assume you know what's happening here, but it's really pretty intense what's happening. I mean, it's like, you know, it's a moment. So I was walking around yesterday in Gótico, the Gothic quarter, and there was a sign like something, "Hello, new country" in Catalan. And I was like, that captures how it somehow, even though there's been nothing specific has happened yet, like nothing declared or that there's talk about it, and it's like, I don't know, obviously there was violence, and there's also this peaceful standing for, you know, for self-determination. I think it's powerful, and so that's, you know.
Of course it's powerful, you know, it's always becoming powerful when, you know, people get together,
Yeah.
you know. Aiming for the same goal,
Yes.
you know, for something to achieve, whether that is positive or negative.
Yes.
You know, so again, I think we are facing a paradox of a love and hate, you know, because as much as hate or just negativity, anger, yeah, it's negativity. So you can see through the anger and through the sadness the power of humanity and the love of humanity, this desire that, you know, this nation here has in order to become independency. And
Yeah, to self-determine.
Yeah, and at the same time you see the terror, you know, what's happening, of how much of, you know, both opposite sides, you know, have lacked communication and have, it's quite sad, you know, like it has affected me.
Yes.
Because I love Barcelona, I've been in this city for so many years. And it's just not nice to know, you know, that these type of things are happening in the city. I think it's affecting many people on an emotional level, and especially the ones who are not originally from here or native, you know, like there's lots of question marks.
Yeah, and that's really what I keep getting present to is like, this is not my fight, and so to be very honest, I was not educated about all of what has brought us to this point. Yeah. So I don't really wade into that territory. Like I don't know. So I've been here for 5 years. So I do, and I love the city as well. There's this like, so that's what when we think about self-determination, it's like there's something here where people are not feeling their voice is heard. They're not getting that experience, and so that is an innate human desire to be heard and to be seen, to be gotten. And so I support that. I did not want Catalunya to be separate itself from Spain. I wasn't supporting the independence movement. But I do think that people have a right to be heard. And if they're not being heard at the level that they want to be,
supporting their voice to be heard, which is totally understandable. I think that, for example, I'm going to go back again to a simple example of in relationships. If you're holding something, you know, against the partner, and you have not being allowed the space to express yourself, and you keep on trying, but you're not being allowed the space to express yourself, that builds up. And over the years it becomes more intense and more intense and more intense, and it turns out has turned into right now. Hence the reason I think why I've just read in 2-3 articles, you know, like they're comparing it to a marriage where
I can see it.
Where two people, you know, like you know, they don't want to stay together, they don't like each other, but they can't, you know, separate, they can't stay together at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's very emotional.
Yeah.
You know, especially only a month after the attacks.
I know. I was thinking about that. I was like, when I left Barcelona to go to New York for the birth of my sister's baby, and just before I left, there was the terrorist attack. And then I came back and this happened. I was like, whoa, man, this is like an definitely intense time to be here. So we wanted to talk a bit about the roots of conflict and conflict resolution, right?
Yes, well, the roots of conflict and the resolution, like you and I have discussed in the subject previously, when we were sitting and having our coffee at the beautiful house together, is like you and I, we have no political knowledge, but one thing that I don't, and I'm not really interested. But one thing that we do have is you know, the ability to sense things, because we tend to be quite sensitive people.
Oh, yeah.
And what we both did agree on was that there's a communication lacking in this sector from both sides.
Yeah.
And when there's a lack of communication, when there's a lack of patience for one side to express to the other and vice versa, and lack of love, conflict arises.
Yes.
Because from both sides is operation from an ego. Whatever it is that you're trying to achieve, you know, when you're fighting for something, you know, it's the ego fighting, you know, and sometimes I don't know whether the fight is the right way forward.
Yeah, there's definitely been like a breakdown in communication for sure in this region, and then it happens in relationships as well. And we wanted to talk about this idea of crowding out, really. Like it's like so we've talked, I think, in an earlier episode about what crowding out is from a food perspective, when people are eating in a way that is, you know, not supporting their body, whether it's sugar or fat or just processed foods. And we were talking, Vesna and I, before the show about, you know, what might that look like when it comes to conflict, and kind of like how you can crowd out conflict, really.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like one of the principles that we have studied at IIN is, you know, like rather than focusing on eliminating all the toxic foods and habits that you have, it's better to just focus on adding more of good, natural, detoxifying foods and habits. So the more you add of the good stuff, you know, then by default, your body will start asking for more of the good stuff.
Plus, it's only just a certain amount of time in the day. You can't
exactly,
eat all
yeah.
the
And the bad stuff will no longer be valid. So it's a similar case or similar principle that you can apply, you know, within these type of situations. You know, like in this place and moment of uncertainty, of fear, of anger, of sadness. You know, if you rather, you know, if you rather than focusing on crowding out those negative emotions, you know, you're just going against. It's like, you know, hitting your head against the wall.
Yes.
You know, you're putting a pressure. You're going against nature. So why don't you just start focusing on crowding in by being grateful for whatever, you know, being grateful for being alive, being grateful for having the opportunity to live in such a beautiful city, you know, because there's still love here, you know, and appreciate, you know, so gratitude and appreciation. So let's start crowding in more of that in order to diffuse this tension. Yeah,
I was talking to my friend Yvonne this morning about this idea, and it comes back to this, that what we start every show here with what's new and good, and that in and of itself
that's
is
why
like,
I wanted to
it's a way to crowd out, actually. Like when I'm in a session with someone coaching them, because our human minds and our ego is designed to solve problems, it's pretty much always on the lookout for what's not working.
Yeah, always focusing on that.
It's like the natural. So in order to crowd out that natural inclination to look for something that's not working, that's not functioning, you've got to look at new and good. So you can crowd out with new and good. You can crowd out the typical identification of and sharing about challenges with, I'm going to consciously now speak about what I'm appreciating or what I'm grateful for, or what can I acknowledge about myself, the world, this person. And you can practice that like when you sit down with anyone in your life. You can, you know, it's like you as soon as you sit down with a friend or a family member, notice what the first things are. You know, maybe with some friends it's a celebration every time.
It would be amazing, but doesn't happen.
It's not often that way. And we're responsible. Like we set the stage. Everyone has a say in that. Even if your friend sits down in front of you and starts complaining about something, you can interrupt and say, you can be like a mini coach and try out like what's new and good. Or just kind of shift the dynamic. I did that with someone I was living with a few months ago. Like started that process every morning. So just crowding out. So we talk about conflict resolution and the roots of conflict. My sense is that the roots of conflict are that it's like you haven't been weeding out there's not been the focus on gratitude or acknowledgement, and there probably has not been between Catalunya and Spain any kind of version of that.
We're focusing on the real problem, you know, but just rather focusing just on the end result, you know, where we are right now, but where this originally occurred.
Yes.
And you know, it is true what you say. We have the tendency to put the attention on the drama, on something that's negative that's happening. Even to the way sometimes we express ourselves. You know, years and years ago, I had a friend who corrected me in speaking, because I quite tend always used to use the word of like nothing is impossible, you know. And he was like, no, Vesna, you know, like why don't you change that to everything is possible?
Ah, it's different, like stating the affirmative.
Yeah, because you're affirming impossible. So like on universal level, the law of attraction, what the universe is hearing is impossible. You know, it's not listening. You know, doesn't understand the whole concept of the sentence. So it's better that you say everything is possible than nothing is impossible.
That's right.
You know, and you know now. You know, it's the same with these marches that they do, you know, like for independence and for things like that. You know, I prefer to march for peace.
Yeah, there's a difference between.
There's a difference between.
I'm marching against this thing, or I'm marching for this, and and that's why I was really heartened to see yesterday, because yesterday there was a day of here in Barcelona and all of Catalunya. I think there was a day of. Strike.
Everyone was striking.
And what I heard from my friend, who's a French guy that lives here, and then also my friend who's a Catalan man that lives here, they both said back to me, like, what I really noticed was how diverse and peaceful the crowd was. Like, they were just speaking for what they wanted. They weren't saying, you know, the initial reason for the march was because of the violence. There had been some violence from the Spanish state towards the Catalan people that were wanting to vote. But the response was more like we want to vote. It wasn't like no. Maybe there was probably some in there, no violence, but most of it was like we want to vote. Why isn't that understood? And that's powerful for me. Like that, when I heard that, I was like, then I have some hope about there at least to be some resolution to this impasse in a way that's going to work.
Well, let's see what's going to happen. You know, it's still very unknown. It's still very uncertain.
Oh, that's part of what we spoke about.
You know, speaking of uncertainty, you know, like it goes down to perception. You know, but it's very tricky. You know, to gain one equal perception. You know, when it comes to a group. You know, how to say. Co-workation, you know, like at the moment, you know, the people are not speaking, I think, just from an individual level. They're just looking at the end result, like this is what we want as a nation. But like if you really break it down to personal things, you know, like I think every one of us right now who's living in this city is feeling a little bit uncertain because we don't know what the future is bringing. We don't know what is going to happen. We don't know what and how much is going to change. But in the middle of all that, of the unknown, you know, it's when creativity can take place.
Yes, exactly.
You know, because, and I'm talking from personal experience and from my personal place, because I'm not from, you know, Catalonia, I'm not from Spain, I'm from Republic of Macedonia, who is not part of European Union. I've been in this city for many, many years, you know, I've got legal status here, but like, where does my status go afterwards, you know? So I do find myself in a place of uncertainty. But rather than focusing my energy on that, you know, and kind of spending my energy on that and fearing of what is going to happen, you know, like, what can I do from this place of uncertainty, you know? Okay, I can occupy myself with additional information, or I can start looking for option 1, option 2, option 3, or outlets of maybe other opportunities or places to live. So once you start thinking of those things, it's when you're turning on your creative mind to find solutions.
Yeah, I've actually heard about people. There's some people who say it's a good idea to actually consciously create uncertainty in your life from time to time, because it's too. If you don't have any uncertainty, you lack your connection to creativity. So that's the conversation back and forth about this. It's like there is an option, there's an availability of new ideas when you are uncertain. It's like that, and that's how I feel about when I'm in an empowered place about change. That's what I'm thinking. If I am only focused on what I don't know and what the fear is, then I lose my focus, and then it becomes like it's a problem rather than it's an opportunity to, just notice. Do I still want to be organizing my business this way? Is this where I want to live all the time? I just think there's an opportunity in this moment.
Yeah, and you never know. It doesn't mean that it's going to be a bad thing. Maybe as we always say, you are exactly where you need to be, and you will be exactly where you need to be in future. So if a situation like this is pushing you out of your comfort zone to take new ventures into consideration, then so be it. Maybe that's exactly what needs to happen, for your life to take that new turn, or to turn the chapter, wherever it's coming. So.
Indeed.
But I just want peace and love.
Yeah.
I do. I think it's sad for both sides.
Of course. So let's see what happens, because we've got, right, I mean, for those of you that are not aware of what we're talking, the depth of what we're talking about, basically there's a coming, or at least been a promised, a declaration of independence by the Catalonian nation from Spain. So we don't know when that's going to happen. This is the level of, imagine, for those of you that are not living here, imagine living in a country that you don't know who is leading that country, who are you going to pay taxes to, who's taking care of the services. Like it's literally at that level of every level of living right now. We don't know. So it's a rare moment in a person's life when there's that much uncertainty. I guess there are people around the world that have lived through revolutions and independence and things like this. But I mean, I'm from the States. Like we had our Declaration of Independence in 1776. Like there's not been anything like. I've never experienced anything close to what is currently happening here, and there's a lot of emotions, but I think what we're saying here is like at that depth of uncertainty, there's such a
certain place.
Yeah, for a lack of a better term, there's a certain energy now when I'm walking around the city. I'm like, wow, it all starts new, fresh now. If I was starting fresh from now, how would I design my life? And it's
below, if you manage to go beyond that uncertainty, there's this strong foundation, and that is you, that is yourself.
That's right.
And it's the point is finding ways of how to reach beyond that uncertainty, because, again, although it feels deep, that is on the surface level, but what's beyond is where your creative mind is,
And my core stuff, where it, like, no matter what.
Exactly, and these things open up, they, like a lotus, when we're out of our comfort zone.
So I would say to people, like, if you're not living here right now, and just look. I guess if I'm looking, and I've done a pretty good job in my life of creating uncertainty. Like I moved from New York to London, not exactly knowing how I was going to, what I was.
It's the same with me in Barcelona.
Yeah, like how I was going to build my business. But like I didn't know I had my skill set and I had certain contacts, but I didn't know exactly how I was going to go. And then I moved from London to here with my ex-partner to Barcelona. And at that time, I thought, I just had to get my visa, but in fact, I couldn't get it. I had to go back to London. And I've done a pretty good job of creating a high level of uncertainty in my life. So I'm relatively well prepared for this kind of thing, and I know that there's some value in it. Like I know each time that's happened, it's created. Like I came to Barcelona, I wrote a book. It was like that. Wasn't going to happen, I don't think, in London. And when I moved from New York to London, it was like I could see, okay, now my business is global. Like I knew it didn't become global at that point. In New York, it was really New York based, and then in London, it became global. So in those moments, even though there was highly uncertain, the idea that I'm a coach, the idea that I like to travel the world, those are core aspects of me that don't change, even when those levels of uncertainty go as high as they do.
Yeah, and another thing is what you said, a very good point, is that when you have experienced it, or you have pushed yourself into such a high levels of uncertainty previously in your life, you are kind of prepared. That is true,
Yeah.
And I feel the same, because imagine if someone that hasn't gone through, moving into countries without being properly planned, saved money. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. This is a state of panic for those people. When like for me, like when I moved in Barcelona, I had 15 days of visa, tourist visa. I think about 1,500 euros saved. That's all. No job, no place to live, nada.
Pero nada.
But it unfolded itself in a beautiful way, because even when it's bad, it's good.
Perfect.
Yeah. So speaking of uncertainty, I don't know whether you've ever
What?
Because he's looking at me.
I was
like,
looking. I don't know what I want.
Whether you've ever heard about that exercise of Tony Robbins.
Only because you mentioned it earlier today when we talked about. There's some exercise about. What I understand is something about when you're feeling uncertain to gather more certainty in your body mind. Whether it's something you can do.
More grounded, you know.
It sounds a little bit weird to me. I've never done this one, but I've done other kinds of weird movement.
Okay, so because you haven't tried it, we'll do it together, and this is like a real life example of how he's gonna feel afterwards.
It's about to get a little bit interesting.
Yeah, but anyway, you do feel you are in a good place right now.
Yeah, I'm stable.
Yeah,
it's fine.
but like just pay attention. So what we're gonna do is, and you guys can repeat after
Get
me.
ready.
Is we are going to do just breathing with the nose.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like
So in your nose, not the
in
nose.
and out, yeah.
And then up
Fast.
This is,
Together,
by the way,
so
this comes from Tony Robbins, one of the most powerful
inhale,
state
exhale.
change agents in the world.
Yeah, he is. I love.
Yeah.
So inhale, exhale. So 30 times. I will count.
30 times?
No, 30. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Okay.
So I will count
Yes.
it. Okay. And we'll take a pause.
Okay.
Couple of seconds. We do it again.
So we're doing it 3 times 30.
3 times 30.
90 of these movements. I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm excited.
And then we'll just breathe for a bit. I'll guide you.
Okay. And you
And
these
then
guys
we'll
as well.
talk and I'll guide the way.
So get ready, guys. We're gonna do this crazy
So
exercise.
this is not a meditation, and
No.
it's not something where you need to sit comfortably.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you need to sit. It's best that you don't support your back because you need to move your arms.
Mm-hmm.
You close your eyes.
Mm-hmm.
You close your eyes,
Mhm.
and we just breathe. Inhale, exhale, and at the same time on the inhale, up with the arms, exhale, down with the arms.
Perfect. I'm ready when you say yes.
Okay, on 1, 2, go. Stop. On 1, 2, go. Stop. 1, 2, go. Okay, stop. Take a deep breath in. And again. One more. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes.
Okay. So I've never done that before. I'm a big fan of Tony Robbins, but I've never done that particular exercise before.
Well, I was told of this by my yoga teacher,
Yeah.
Lucy from Yomu.
Yeah.
She, we've practiced it on beginning of yoga classes so many times, and she actually told me that.
Here's what I noticed.
Tell me.
The immediate effect was that afterwards I was very present to where I am, and I remembered that we hadn't acknowledged that we're in yoga. We said yoga, we haven't said as much about. So that was the first thing. I was like, oh, that's where I am, and I just got really clear. I guess I got clear about some more things that I want to say in this conversation. It got me more present to where I am, who I am, what I want to say. That was the kind of the effect of it.
The whole point of dealing with uncertainty.
Yeah, it's like, okay, actually, so you're right. So that, I wasn't super uncertain before, but I am now clear. Yeah.
And I don't know whether, do you think that the sight changes?
My actual vision?
Yeah, I feel more, maybe because of that feeling of presence, I feel more bright, everything is more clear.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit it's a bit bright.
A bit more, yeah. But yeah, you do feel grounded.
For sure, I feel more grounded.
That you are right here, right now. And that's exactly what you can do, for example, fear takes place, anger takes place, resentment takes place, you know, all these panic or anxiety, you know, just pause and do this exercise, you know, it really puts you back onto the ground, you know.
Let yourself get a little bit weird and get comfortable, you know, comfortable breathing in ways that are, you know, we're really a culture against anything like that. Like that's, you know, to do this, when people are watching, like I'm, you know, it's like, I was thinking like some of my friends are going to think I'm whack if they're just tuning in that moment, they tune in just now. But then it's like, you know, who cares? Like I don't care, like I care, obviously, what people think, but if it's going to have me be clear about what I'm up to and what I need to do, then it's worth it.
As long as you justify, you know, why you're doing it and how can this benefit to humanity, to people, then I don't care how crazy it looks, you know, like because the whole idea about living this life that is one life to be lived is to express yourself.
Plus, it's going to look different in the world where it's all working for everyone. It's going to look, we're going to be behaving differently. Like I always think it's funny. People are like, oh yeah, it's fun to go out for a cigarette break, but to go out and meditate is like, that's weird. If you're weird if you're meditating. And that's going to need to change if we're going to have a world where...
If we want to change.
Yeah, if we want, and I want that. So I have to continually push the boundaries of what I'm comfortable doing in public so that I can, if I'm going to be someone who's going to be a leader in that shift, I'm going to have to get past those tendencies towards...
Well, it's our job as doing what we do to pass those tendencies, and it's our job as well, I always say this, you know, to share what we have, what we know, what we have gained and learned through our life experiences, and to lift the others. And actually, I wanted to read something that it just came to me from, I was tagged today on Facebook from my yoga teacher.
A reading from Vesna.
And she loves Marianne Williamson, but it's just perfect for you know, the moment that we live right now. So this is from Marianne Williamson.
Marianne Williamson.
Yeah, Marianne Williamson, and From Tears to Triumph. It's her book.
Fabulous.
Right, so numbing our sensitivity to the problems of our world not only diminishes our humanity, but also decreases our motivation to fix those problems before they overwhelm us. We don't need to avoid our suffering as much as we need to heed its message. The fabric of our civilization is dangerously frayed. And the people who understand that, who are genuinely and appropriately upset about it, are the passion bearers needed to recreate this world. Beautiful.
Yeah, it's a fantastic message.
Thanks, Lucy, for sharing this. We love you.
Yeah, Marianne Williamson, that's the what is it called, the book that she wrote, the original one.
Return to Love.
Return to Love. And it's based on the Course in Miracles, which I have a lot of people in my life that I respect and listen to have done that Course in Miracles, and I think it's very powerful.
Yeah, I've been aiming to do it for a long time. I guess it hasn't happened because I'm not ready, because you know, when you make a decision by now, I even have the app. You can find an app, download for free on your phone, and every day you just turn a new page and you read what it says.
Right now I'm deep into, actually it's funny that she brought up the Tony Robbins thing, because I'm actually right now getting into the Tony Robbins breakthrough app. So yeah, that's where I'm focusing right now.
Alright, okay. I might download that.
Oh, it's really powerful. A lot of free content, really interesting, really useful stuff. Because it looks like that I'm going to become a Tony Robbins certified coach as well.
I want to do that.
Oh, sure. You have to be invited.
From who?
From someone who's already a coach at Tony Robbins.
Do you have anybody?
Well, first I have to become one, then I can invite you. So that's one thing that's going to happen to me.
Come on, hurry up.
Yeah, right. It's going to take some time. You have to go to training in Florida, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's done.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to read something from the book at some point. I don't know when that happened, but I wanted to read something.
We're going to touch base a little bit on life direction, having clarity on purpose. Like what is like the difference between life purpose and soul purpose. But you can read.
It's something about that. It's at the end of the chapter I called The You Beyond Your Mind. It's just, it will make a little bit of sense, not maybe full sense, but I say the thing is there's a huge difference between doing something for someone and being inspired about serving that person, and doing something because you have to, because it's expected of you. In the moments when you're feeling overwhelmed and stressed, it's almost guaranteed that you're in have-to mode rather than inspired mode. This is not to say that expectations don't exist, or that you need to always be lit up inside every time you're doing the laundry for your children. But what you can do is occasionally get yourself reconnected to the why behind the what you are doing for them. That's something about, that speaks to me when we think about life versus soul purpose. Like,
why is the most important thing?
Yeah,
I think it's not about what, it's about why.
And that, like when you get clear about your life purpose or your soul purpose, you're getting clear about some kind of why. Different whys for life and soul.
Of course.
Yeah, I know you have something to say about that because you are really clear about the distinction between life and soul purpose. So.
Well, I mean, the thing is that the way I see them is that life purpose is something that it's more materialistic. That it's, you know, it's like an asset or tangible. So for example, I have few life purposes that I like. So I want to write a book. I want to...
Like accomplishment, things you want to have.
Yeah, you know, this is a purpose in my life. I want to spread the message to humanity about, you know, the importance of eating healthy and people, you know, teach people, inspire people to become consciously aware of every day the food that they put on their plate and what they put into their bodies and how much really food can change the way we speak, the way we think.
This is life purpose.
Yes,
okay,
yeah, you know, like my life purpose is to create a sustainable impact in people's lives to the use of food. Okay? Now, soul purpose is what my soul wants, you know, what my soul needs. So, soul purpose could be divine feminine.
So, one of the ways I hear that is that something that sounds like one of the differences that is that your life purpose is what you're doing in the world. For people, and then there's a soul purpose
making a living out of that.
Is for you, just for you. So
soul purpose, so your soul, like, you know, maybe what I want, you know, what my mind wants, or you know, the life purpose, you know, it could be completely different to what the soul desires on the higher consciousness.
Now, here's my question. So I want to know, can my soul purpose show up in my life purpose? Like I'd like that. I'd like there to be an alignment between.
I guess is if you work on your soul's purpose, like meditating and working for the higher good or for the divine consciousness or for the light, let's say, the light will show you the way. How you can intertwine that within your life purpose. Maybe what you think that your life purpose is not. Maybe if you work, if you work on your soul's purpose and you work for you know, for the light will guide you somewhere else.
That's why people often, there'll be like a mantra, like, just, I'm the vessel, like, you know, shine through me, this kind of thing.
Me, show me the way. You know?
I actually, when I was in New York, I wandered into a church with my friend Elisa, so on the recommendation of my friend, and said, connect back to spirit and soul and religion. And I went in there and I received a pretty clear...
and did you go there for a soul's purpose?
I did, and that's what I did. And then it was like...
And you never thought that maybe you will start getting involved back to your religion?
I really didn't, and I kind of am now. Like, I'm into it.
There you go.
So it's interesting. So yeah.
So you will find your way if this is what you want to do to kind of, you know, tweak that within your work.
And it's one of the ways, actually, that's interesting, because what's shown up in the past few months is that I've been invited more than once now to go speak at churches. And it's like, so it's something's happening, which is a relationship between my soul purpose, whatever that, I'm not exactly clear what that is, and my life purpose, which I say is to serve people and to heighten the level of awareness and consciousness and presence for people.
Okay, so maybe serving the way to people, this is just an example, won't be through your book, but would be through you going to churches.
Exactly.
So this is how, you know, because I think you are on the right path, because you're doing what you're doing, you know, it comes out naturally. And I'm sure it has resonated with you many times, and you still get the goosebumps from time to time when you speak about the work you do. So, you know, it must feel right.
Yeah, 10 years, I mean, I'm 10 years into it.
Exactly. So, but, you know, the soul might tell you, you know, you need to look at a little bit this way as well, you know, and take the tools, you know, that you already have. Everything that we've shown you, everything that you've studied, you know, you take it, but now we're gonna apply it this way.
It's a weird thing for me. It's very, talk about uncertainty. It creates that, I think, connecting to the soul purpose requires a degree of comfort with uncertainty. It's like you have to be willing, to
for sure.
Be uncertain.
Because first, I think that the unpleasant things have to come out on the surface. You know, when it comes to work on your soul's purpose, you're peeling like an onion.
Oh yeah, man.
Layer after layer. So let's just say, for example, what if there's a guy who has a business, let's say real estate, and that's his life purpose, to become very rich and full of money, blah, blah. But the soul's purpose, without even him conscious understanding, is that he needs to get rid of and overcome the anger and the resentment that he's feeling since childhood, who's actually has kind of, you know, productively being used into the energy to become a successful person. But that doesn't go away.
Yeah.
You've used that energy
to get where you are.
To get where you are, but the problem remains. You know, you're still unhappy, even though you've achieved all these things, because you haven't worked on your soul's purpose.
All right. So there we go. So I think the message for people is like, it's useful to get clear about both, about your life purpose and your soul purpose. You know,
yeah, I think it's easier and more practical, and we are more conditioned to be able to determine our life purpose, because it's harder for people to believe into the unseen and just feeling. And start with that, but if you do have the interest or something is awakening inside where you want to discover a little bit more of who you are, then start with meditation, start with breathing techniques, start with yoga. Maybe that will not be the way, but that will show you the way, another way and another way, and you just keep on going. You know, and one day something will stay, but none of it is a failure. You know, it's all an experience, and you know, just steps that they're getting you closer to where exactly you need to be.
And as I'm listening to Vesna speaking, that tug of war in my mind between really getting clear about life, I get it, it's important, and then I'm also like, well, I think part of my soul purpose is helping people be, and myself as well, be more and more in the moment, so like not actually striving towards something. And that's the dance. I think that's the bit. Anytime you get really close to the universal truths, it doesn't make sense. It's like, well, how can I both have a purpose, meaning I'm not exactly where I'm supposed to be, I'm still working on it, but then I'm supposed to be in the present moment. It gets confusing in those moments. But I think that's when I'm getting close to there's something there, there's some wisdom there. You know?
Well, maybe the answer there, you know, is the no answer. You know, accepting the no answer, and rather than, you know, trying to figure out with your mind, you just feel. Just feel. That's all you need to do. Sometimes it's a matter of just be, as they say.
I'm mostly being these days, and it feels pretty cheeky. So if people are curious about their life purpose, soul purpose, just comment below. I promise we'll respond to you, you know, and answer your questions if you've got anything about that. Yeah.
Do we want to tell them about what's coming with the future of the show and
here
where
come the elephants from Macedonia?
I brought them all the way.
Absolutely, they're beautiful. These elephants, no? Yeah. So let's talk about it.
Well, quite emotional.
Yeah.
Well, so Matthew, not next week. Well, no, end of next week. Is going to Switzerland.
We go to Switzerland for a couple of weeks.
So he's got some work to do there. Which means that we're going to take a break with the show. Then he's back, and then a week after, 2 weeks after, he's off for almost 2 months
to
in
the States.
Month and a half. Family and stuff, but that's a couple of weeks ago. We sat down on Monday in the beautiful parks today. Under the sun, had a cup of coffee and tea, munched on some almonds, and just talked about life. And we've decided to go separate ways with Zest for Life, unfortunately, not because we don't want to continue, but because of the place where we are right now in our lives. He's gonna get busier with the co-coaching spots. I'm getting busier with my corporate health and wellness projects, and he will not be physically present.
I'll be here a lot, but not always.
Yeah, and not always. So like it will be hard for us to manage to be able to be live on Facebook for you guys. So we decided that it's best that we, you know, do our own thing. Although I think that from time to time we'll be joining
pretty
again.
likely.
Yeah, pretty likely.
The other thing for me, I really, you know, it was an experiment for me to be on Barcelona City FM and really have the show there. And I pretty firmly believe now that that's not where it's at. Like radio, I'm interested in podcasting now, so I'm actually working.
Very popular.
So it's like I want to explore that. I've got a friend in the States that wants to help me with that. So that's part of it also. It's like this came from a show that was on the radio, and that's no longer, you know.
It's no longer existent in the radio, but we are the Zest for Life. You know, we created this, and we decided to continue because we believed in it, and there's so much juicy and zesty conversations, you know, to talk about. And I even have enjoyed even more in the past 2-3 shows because there's not that music break, because I can go into the depth of a conversation and really explore one subject. And we've actually, you know, got to know each other better, you know, and I see how much we can talk for hours.
We could, we won't, we could.
You know, and with the podcasts, they're becoming popular, and you don't have to do it live. It's like, you know, it's just audio, so you can pre-record it, so it gives you more time to play with things. It's something that maybe I will consider in future, but at the moment I want to focus on the corporate side. I will most probably continue with my Wellness Wednesdays YouTube channel, where Zest for Life episodes will be already, you know, downloaded on it. But it will be shorter. Maybe sometimes I'll make some recipes, or I'll give you 5-10 minutes of a health and wellness tip, or sometimes I might have a guest, but let's see. I haven't decided how yet. It definitely makes you feel more disciplined, and you know, you have more integrity when you work with another person, because, you know, the show depends on 2 people, and I hope that I can keep that determination after we start.
Me too. The bottom line, so there's one more show next week, then there's a 2-week break, then we're going to do one show after that. So especially now, as we're wrapping things up, if you are wanting to hear us speak on a particular topic, you know, comment below, send us a message.
Think about different topics.
Yeah, like whatever you want to hear about, knowing that it's coming to an end and that we're going to be doing some different things going forward. Yeah, but that's really it. That's it.
Oh.
Yay! So yeah, that's our news. The elephants are now out of the room. Yeah. They're great. They're beautiful. But we don't have them anymore.
No more elephants.
Yes. So
what's this thing with the elephant? Is this an American?
Oh yeah. So, sorry.
Just explain.
Oh yeah, it's a phrase. When 2 people are together and there's something that they're making pleasantries and they're not talking about the thing that's really obviously there for them between them. There's like you say. Let's talk about that elephant there. It's like it's so obvious, but we're not talking about it. You know, you can't miss an elephant.
Okay.
So
I think there was something in the movie The Secret.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's where it comes from. So after we stopped being on Barcelona City FM, we were at Vesna's apartment it's the first thing I saw, and I walked in like, oh, look at these elephants. I'm like, that's going to be useful because we have the big elephant in the room. As soon as we go live, we're going to be like, you're not in the studio anymore. Yeah. So that's what I can do.
Cool.
And so now we have this other announcement to make.
So again, what are you up to?
What am I up to? So yeah, no, this
now
week.
till next Wednesday.
So I'm a vagabond. I'm staying in different places. Vagabond. I'm staying right now with my friend Ivan. I'll stay at my friend Vincent's place. I may spend an evening in Torre de Embarra in Catalunya, south of here. So I'm excited about. I'm actually starting to embrace, because my life has been pretty vagabondish for a long time. I was traveling throughout South America last year around this time, actually. So it's been almost a year's worth of really global travel, family, enjoyment, this kind of stuff. So I'm finally embracing it and enjoying that. For a while I was like, this is too much uncertainty for me, but actually, as our conversation today, I'm excited actually. So that's cool about this coming week. What else is going on? What else is going on this week? I think that's really, I mean, I can say it a million times about this co-coaching spot thing, but I said it enough. That's also exciting. Between now and next Wednesday, no, I won't have gone to Switzerland. No, that's what's up this week. Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'm excited because tomorrow looks like it's going to be sunny and 26 degrees, so I'm definitely going to spend some time under the sun, taking advantage of the last sun rays. Then I'm going away to France from Friday till Sunday. Next
this
week.
is part of the world. We can just go to France for a few days. It's nice.
Well,
it's nice.
So close.
I know.
Like you can take BlaBlaCar, or you've got this Flixbus that
Absolutely.
you can get like.
cheap, 20 euros.
Yeah, 20 euros return.
Fabulous.
And you get internet inside and comfortable seats and yeah.
Why not?
You know, why not? Book with you, backpack, and that's it.
Boom.
Boom, boom, chicka boom.
Good.
So that's one thing. I gotta rush home after this because I have a client for therapy. I'm thinking of planning more things together for the ebook.
Yes.
Next week.
She promised. Remember, she promised you guys this ebook is coming.
Promise. Yep. I really need to go back to dancing.
Okay. So what will you do this week for dancing?
So there's a school, dance school.
Yeah, you mentioned this a couple of weeks ago. Actually.
I know.
One of the things that happens in coaching is you hold people to account. So I'm now holding you guys to account.
Okay, hold me accountable because this is my life force energy, and I'm a born dancer. You know, God has given me that talent, and I really need to use it.
Okay.
Especially in times of uncertainty.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
That's
So at
my
some
advice.
point this week you're going to dance.
At some point this week, I'm definitely going to be dancing.
Does it have to be in public or a class, or what does it mean for you? It doesn't matter. It could be in your home.
Could be in my home.
Okay, got it.
But I'm gonna go to the school, which is like 2 minutes walk from my house, and ask how much is a monthly subscription.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
That's
a
she's
promise.
having that conversation.
Okay. So we can talk about it next Wednesday.
Yes. One other thing I just realized that this week I'm getting my computer back this evening. I haven't had my computer for like more than a week. So I'll be making love to my computer this week. Like basically I haven't. Yeah, like it's going to get a little racy. Because I miss it actually. So yeah, there's a lot of things I've been waiting to do because I haven't had my computer. So I'm going to go literally after the show and go get my computer finally.
So I'm going to see lots of kiss prints.
Yeah!
On your screen.
Yeah, I do have a kind of love affair with my computer. So I'm not happy. Nothing sexual, nothing physical.
Oh,
it's getting weird. It's getting weird.
Right, okay, that's it.
Yeah,
We're stopping now. Alone.
So we're thanking to Yoka San Cultura again for this. Another place. Let's show this.
And to pets.
Yeah,
I'm going to show as well.
This is fabulous. We have Barcelona here.
It's a beautiful
Really nice.
space.
You have beautiful views. Let's see the spot. Yoka San Cultura. Thank you very much for having us. Look how beautiful. And there's the reclaimed wood that they have. It's really, really cool. This place sleeps 8 people, I think. That's my understanding.
Kitchen.
Yeah. Gorgeous. I'm not turning on the lights, but just so you have a sense.
Okay.
La utopia no es una tontería.
So, that's it.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys. We love you. Take care.
Bye for now. Love you guys.